Games make everything possible. Stuff you'd never be able to do, you can. But there is some stuff you probably shouldn't do in games. Hi folks, it's Falcon, and today on gameranx, 7 things gamers should never do. Number 7 is fake reporting and trying to get someone banned. Now, this is something that happens a lot, unfortunately. You get somebody who is good at a game, and you get somebody who is vindictive about being beaten in a game, and the obvious dynamic that appears is, of course, I don't want that guy playing this game, I'm playing this game. I would like to be able to win, and that guy made me not win. Hrumph. And considering a lot of reporting systems are automated, sometimes it's a little bit too easy to be successful when doing this. You can report somebody a few times for something, and the fact that it happened a few times makes an automated system go, oh, well, it must be real. This is actually something you see on more than just games. There's a lot of false reporting that happens on YouTube, that happens on Twitter, and you'll often see videos go down that had no reason to go down because of like some person with a vendetta fake copyright reported a video. It's not cool. And when it happens in gaming, it's, I think, a little more personal and weird, and it makes the people who are playing the game kind of discouraged, especially considering the fact that usually they're people who have spent time getting better at the game than other people and have just pissed people off by doing that. Obviously, it's just not a cool thing to do, so please don't. Like, think about what you're really doing. Like, for every person who says get good, and then somebody gets good and they beat somebody else and that makes them mad, so they fake report them. Yeah, it's not a good cycle. Number 6, worse than that, of course, but actually not dissimilar to that, is swatting. Now, the police obviously have very specific reasons for entering a house. You know, like someone has taken an armed hostage, or a kidnapping has occurred, or somebody has a bomb or something like that. And calling the police and expressing one of those specific reasons in a house that you've obtained the address to of like a Twitch streamer or a gamer that you don't like, without those things actually happening, gets police to enter a house, oftentimes in a hostile way, to try to turn down like a hostage situation or whatever, with guns drawn. This has caused deaths. For instance, in 2017, a man named Tyler Barris swatted another gamer by the name of Andrew Finch, and he was killed by the police. He was sentenced to 20 years in jail, so, I mean, if getting somebody else killed over a game isn't enough to stop you, maybe it doesn't sound so great to be in jail that long. Number 5, though this one is way less serious than the previous one, don't be condescending to new gamers. There is no person who has played video games who was never not new at playing video games. Even if they started at 2 years old, they were new to video games then. And I promise you, they weren't good at 2 years old. And if you start video games at age 14 or age 24 or age 34, going in, you're probably not gonna be great. Sure, there are some people who are just naturally good at video games, but there's not a lot. And I've noticed all of the people that I've ever met like that tend to be very humble about it. But everybody was new at some point. That means try to understand that. Yeah, it's funny to make fun of noobs at times, but when somebody's really genuinely just trying to learn a new thing, you know what would be better than being condescending and crappy to them? Just helping them, like being a good community member. That's something that gaming can be at its best, and there's really just no real reason to be condescending to new gamers. Number 4 is using lag switches. Now, if you're not aware of what a lag switch is, here's how it works. Let's say you wanted to glitch and have it look like you're running, or maybe look like you're not running, but be running, and teleport to where you were running to. Now, there's certainly limited utility as to what this might work for, but considering a game is waiting for input, and you can delay that input by a few moments by holding down a button on a lag switch, you could use it to do slightly better at online matches. For instance, you could be running forward, press the lag switch, and sidestep. By the time you let go of the lag switch, other players may be trying to kill the version of you that they think is still running in the forward direction while you have sidestepped. You let go of that switch and attack them, and you're basically given the upper hand. Now, there's no such thing as a league that isn't eventually going to figure out you're using a lag switch, so it's not exactly the worst problem of all time. However, people who are enjoying games and are just dealing with somebody who is using a technical limitation of all games to exploit the fact that data transmission has to continually go on and on. Now, I'm not saying there are no positive uses of the lag switch. They can be used in private matches that everybody has a lag switch and it's intentionally part of what everybody kind of agrees to, but there's not a lot of that out in the wild, so to speak. Most of the time, if somebody's using a lag switch, they probably shouldn't be. When somebody just decides to bring one into some match that random people are playing, they're basically doing it specifically to have an unwarranted upper hand over others, and that's not why everyone else is playing the game, which kind of sucks, so don't do it. Number 3 is quit early. Now, what we mean by that is like in a sports game or in the middle of a competitive match or, basically in a lot of situations where other people could be relying on you. Let's say you're in a match in a squad-based game like Rainbow Six Siege. If you get tired of it, you're basically sending everybody else up the river. What we're not talking about is quitting in the middle of a match where it's like 1 versus 1, and if you quit, you're basically just forfeiting all of your XP over to the other player. I mean, who really cares about that? Most of the time, the other player in that situation is going to be like, all right, cool. But when you're playing like FIFA or a first-person shooter and you're co-op with somebody else, it's really not a good idea to just quit on them. Let's say you decided you want to play basketball in real life with some friends. You got an intense match going, and it's getting near the end. You've been playing for, let's say, an hour, and you know your team is going to lose. Nobody else wants to leave. They want to finish the game. There's still a chance that they could bring it back. And even if not, it's not necessarily actually about winning for everyone else. For you, it is about winning. So you're kind of annoyed by the whole thing and just decide to leave. That's kind of a crappy thing to do to your team. Really, to all of your friends who are playing basketball. It's kind of saying, winning matters to me more than playing this with you. And while it's not exactly the same impact when you're not playing with friends, when you're just playing with random strangers online, it's still people who rely on you for this game, to have fun, to enjoy, in some cases to try to win, certainly. So go to the end of the match, gamers, even if you're gonna lose. Coming in at number 2 is just cheating and hacking in general. Well, we did detail a very specific way of cheating, the lag switch. Let's talk about more generalized cheating. Whether you've installed some kind of cheat program, you found some exploit in the game, you've hacked the game yourself, whatever. If it's a game that other people are playing as well, it's not really cool to do. Again, unless, of course, cheating, hacking, and all of that stuff is agreed upon as a condition going into the game, but it almost never is. Not in random matches online where a lot of cheating and hacking takes place. One of the more egregious ones that so many people try to do is an aimbot in a game like Overwatch or Fortnite or anything like that. Any first-person shooter. For whatever reason, it seems particularly egregious in those games. A lot of people have been banned in Overwatch for aimbots over the years. We've talked about a few of them. Recently, a Twitch streamer by the name of BJerahaz, I don't really know how to say it, or even if his username is meant to be said. But recently, he's been accused of using an aimbot. Many people have been, particularly in Apex Legends as well. There's, of course, a very fierce debate over whether it's actually an aimbot or not. I'm not at liberty to judge that. However, I will say if you are doing an aimbot, anyone out there, not just Twitch streamers, but anybody who might enter a game with random people and have an advantage over them because of an aimbot or any hack, cheat, really, don't. Not only is it a jerk thing to do, but it's eventually gonna get you banned. Eventually. And nobody really wants that. And finally, number 1 is griefing and trolling. Now, this can mean a wide range of things. There are games with very focused objectives that people intentionally subvert and do the opposite of. And in a lot of cases, these things are very, very funny to watch. I'm not going to say these things should never happen because the memes that have come out of things like Leroy Jenkins, for instance, just shouting Leroy Jenkins over a microphone in a game, that's trolling, but it's funny. That being said, a lot of the time people don't like it, And if that's the case, it maybe should be considered not great to do. In creative games like Minecraft, for instance, people work hard on creating something, and griefing may mean destroying it, which is really not cool. Obviously, if you're playing with your friends and you know everybody's sense of humor and they know your sense of humor, it's not so bad to grief. It's not so bad to troll either. These types of things between friends are often enjoyable. One could even say if you took video games out of it, the entire series of Jackass is built on this. People just sort of griefing and trolling each other. But again, that's usually people who agree that it's okay sometimes going in. What are some things you think gamers should never do? Leave us a comment, let us know what you think. If you like this video, please click like. If you're not subscribed, now's a great time to do so. We upload brand new videos every day of the week, and the best way to see them first is, of course, a subscription. So click subscribe, and don't forget to click the notification bell. As always, thank you very much for watching this video. I'm Falcon. You can follow me on Twitter at FalconHero, and we'll see you next time right here on gameranx.